Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. John Angel of John Angel Real Estate Group here. I'm here with Christian Johnson of Rate. Christian, what is a mortgage buy down?
A mortgage buy down is when the seller, the agent, or the lender helps the buyer out by subsidizing their mortgage payment over the next couple of years. So like, for example, a 2-1 buy down is where the seller, the agent, or the lender buys a rate down 2% the first year, then 1% the next year, and then the ensuing years goes back to its normal interest rate. So for example, if today's interest rate 7, then the first year their rate would be 5, then the next year the rate would be 6, and then years 3 and on, it would be 7.
You go back to 7. Okay.
But it is truly a subsidy. Basically, it's just someone's contributing to pay the difference from that 7 to that 5%. So it can run up in cost over time, but it can be an incentive, and we often see it with many builders.
Okay, and that's on the understanding that rates will eventually go down and they'll be able to refinance at a lower rate.
Yeah, the plan there is everything's a cycle, right? And so we're on the downward slope of a high trend. So about a year ago, rates are maybe 8.5. Today, rates are close to 7, maybe 6.5. So we're already on that trajectory, but it allows them to buy a house today.
Okay.
And then refinance later and figure it out.
Okay, great. So what is a first-time buyer? And this is a little bit of a trick question.
So yeah, first-time home buyer, most people think, well, it's someone who's bought a house for the first time. But you can actually be a born-again first-time home buyer. And what that means is you have not owned a home in the last 3 years. Now you are eligible again for some really fantastic first-time home buyer programs, whether it's FHA, or we have some grant money where we've partnered with Fannie Mae and we're giving like $8,000 in grants to buyers. Now that depends on where they're currently living, but then there's other ones that are dependent on the house that they're buying. So it's really advantageous for us to dive in, take a look, and see kind of where you are as a first-time home buyer.
Okay, excellent. So that means if you sold in 2022, you may qualify as a first-time buyer again.
That's correct.
Okay, great. And third question, what's the third question? And Christian, what can somebody expect to bring as a down payment?
Well, that's another misnomer, is that most people think that they have to bring 20% to be able to buy a house. And that couldn't be further from the truth. There's some great 0% down programs, whether it's down payment assistance or for our amazing veterans, and we're so thankful for you. You actually can get a home with nothing down and no PMI. It's fantastic. But then there's also some programs with 3% down and maybe 5% down. And I'll be honest, I think the majority of the loans we do are actually 5% down.
Really? Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, and you are qualified to do VA loans, of course.
Absolutely. We love it, and we actually waive all of our fees for our veterans. We're super happy to help.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Christian, thank you so much for your time. How can they reach you?
Absolutely. I'd love to help. This is Christian Johnson. I'm with Rate, and the website's homeloansbychristian.com or 214-763-8767 or christian.johnson@rate.com.
And I can be found at 214-724-5646. Christian, thank you so much.
You bet.